you to give it up. I want you to give it up. And I especially want you to give it up. Give it up for David Smith!
Falstaff has left the room. Falstaff here? Whatever.
Where in California are you from?
Do you pay this? Do you pay for that shit?
No.
You pay me for that shit.
You have been paid. Keep Stephen Beret.
I'm doing. Yeah. This shit's expensive.
Yeah, that shit.
How come I don't even got a goddamn seat? My own goddamn.
That shit did cost, didn't it, Steve?
This is a bad seat, man. He looks like a piece of wood.
Where in California?
I was born in LA. I live in San Francisco. I still spend about a third of my time in LA.
I sit at his feet.
You should.
I do.
But this is not my first time to Cleveland. Last time I was here in October of '06.
Yeah, '06.
For the Levy Fest. Yeah. Actually, this is really cool getting to read like with the disco ball. So a real quick story. The last time I did anything related to poetry and disco balls, when I came up, and I'm an old fuck, really I am, and so I came up through like the Venice poetry scene in LA.
A little louder out here. A little louder.
A little quieter out there.
Kill the fucking messenger.
It will be
East
done.
Coast, West Coast poetry battle.
Anyway,
That's it.
Sorry.
anyway, I came up through the Venice poetry scene. We used to do all sorts of open readings, open mics, much like this. And in the old days, we used to pass around the hat, you know, at the end of the reading. Okay, poets. One night, and I don't remember who in the hell the guy was who was reading, Peter Shallendahl or somebody like that. John Travolta showed up at the reading, and this was like, well, let me finish this. This was like '81 John Travolta, so it was post, you know, Saturday Night Fever, post Grease.
Post-urban cowboy.
And at the time, it's like when we passed around the hat, and everybody would throw in like a buck after the reading, and it was one of Travolta's buddies who were reading. So we're counting out, you know, the tab at the end of the night, and there's change and a buck or two $100 bills in the fucking basket. We knew who they came from. And we thought he was incredibly cheap. Because we knew exactly how much that motherfucker had gotten paid for Grease. Anyway, and he never showed up again. He was like a fish out of water. He had no concept. So, anyway.
It's a Scientology.
Well, you know what? That may have actually been pre-Elron as far as John was concerned. You know, the last of his work. Anyway, it is wonderful to be back here in Cleveland. I enjoyed it. Steve and I and John Dorsey, my buddy from Ohio, all my folks. But tonight I am going to dedicate this reading to two, you know, grand Ohio folks who are now expatriates. Los Gringos Smith, my
Gringo!
But this means a lot to me that these guys are here tonight. And so,
It's a Smith Fest, for God's sake!
it is a Smith Fest. So, but it's great to see everybody. But these guys especially, I was especially glad to hear they were going to be here. You, I didn't care about.
I knew they coming in.
I knew you'd show up. You have nothing else to do on a Thursday night. And you happen to be in the neighborhood anyway.
I stumble in every so often.
All right, let's move from the bullshit into the art. So, again, it's wonderful to be back here in Cleveland, back in Ohio. This is a poem I actually wrote just this last week in anticipation of coming here. Cleveland Nocturne. It's nice to see you again, Albert Ayler. Martyred Holy Ghost, coloring outside the lines, hovering along the edge of this city of light and magic, this city of sure, why not a great notion? Why don't you untie your shoes and stay a while? You might find that you like it here. Things have changed a bit. The river doesn't catch fire nearly so often anymore. And when you are ready to check out again And if you elect to repeat the drowning routine, then Lake Erie is a whole lot more enticing than that damned East River in New York City. So tell me, Albert, how much... I'm sorry, we'll check that too. So tell me, Albert, how much spending money do you think that God carries around? How much cash do you think that he's got in his wallet right now? Go ahead, venture a guess. A couple of 20s perhaps? A 10 spot or 3? Maybe those 4 crisp $50 bills from last Thursday's 7th race at Thistledown when the Lord put $5 on the 3-6 exacta and it hit.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that we know about God, he sure knows how to handicap the ponies.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I see you there, Albert Ayler, sitting alone at a back table at Hot Sauce Williams Barbecue. By the way, they should change that to Sweet Sauce Williams. We ate it last night. It's more sweet than hot, right, John?
Yeah, definitely.
The one on Carnegie Avenue. How's the pork shoulder tonight? Are you having the greens with bacon or the coleslaw? The mac and cheese, perhaps? Will you finish with the sweet potato pie or the banana pudding? The world is watching, and it has a need to know how you are and just what you are thinking. You are the rip in the fabric, Albert, as well as the staple that holds everything together. If Coltrane's love is a supreme love, then your way is the way. With a blast that burns the soles of the feet, in a register that splits the beat of the heart, one day everything will be as it should be. And for those of you who don't know Albert Ayler, he is the greatest jazz musician that ever came from
Ayler.
Ayler. Thank you.
Ayler.
I'm Jewish. We pronounce it Ayler for the West Coast.
Ayler.
West Coast.
I've been corrected. Thank you. Best phrase.
I mean, you know.
The albums on ESP especially
Yeah.
were the best.
Yes.
When we moved to Impulse, it kind of, changed a bit. But
He
when
did.
we all moved to Impulse, it all changes a bit. Speaking of Impulse, this next piece is titled King Impulse. When I can, I like to stomp across the roof in the nude. I still got the body for it, the joy of 300 sit-ups per day, and a healthy obsession with free weights. Crippled with mad delivery, Olivier overplaying Richard III, lurching about my stage, a stunning cripple, tilting at whatever horse has crapped on my kingdom. I am warm to the naked thrill of everything. My dealer left for his annual vacation this morning, a 2-week holiday in the sun in Kauai. I suppose that he needed the break to refresh his mind and charge up his batteries. The woman next door washes her breasts in the nude, finishing off the tips of the nipples with a squeeze of lemon juice. It's marvelous, because her window doesn't even face the ocean. At 52, with roaring high blood pressure, a slight case of anemia, and a tattered left ear, there are certain things that I ought to give up. But speed, goddammit, is not going to be one of them. Not entirely untrue. Like I said, I'm an old dude, and those of you from this era will sympathize, and those of you who are not will laugh. The title of this poem is My Prom Tuxedo, 1974. A true testimonial to better living through chemistry. There wasn't a single ounce of it made from a fabric found in nature. but the lapels were wide enough for the brightest boutonniere, and the cuffs were belled enough to handle my best platform shoes. Maury at the rental shop said that it was next to impossible to wrinkle, even if I were fortunate enough to have my date bunch my trousers down around my ankles in the back seat of my father's 71 Inviolate Plymouth Barracuda with the 426 Hemi, the ultimate blowjob vehicle. Thanks for the loan, Dad.
Yes!
But he warned, I needed to be careful around an open flame, because even though it wouldn't necessarily catch fire, it most likely would melt. That's why you laugh. It's what gives you joy, isn't it?
There's pictures.
There are pictures. The 71 Barracuda was the greatest car probably of all time. I mean,
Rockstar car.
I wish it lasted. It lasted the prom, which was good enough for me. And Dad took it back right away.
Damn it.
I'm going to dedicate this poem also to Cleveland. I dedicated it to Kansas City a couple weeks ago, to LA when I read there, San Francisco when I read it home, and every other city in the world. I'll read it again when I'm back in Cleveland in November.
November.
Yeah, we'll be back in November. Anyway, this poem is titled, I Want to Live in a City. I want to live in a city where it doesn't matter who you are, what you can do, how well you can do it, or even who you know. But rather, what is of utmost importance is what you wear and how well you wear it. I want to live in a city where fashion is religion, where we trust Vivienne Westwood long before we trust Jesus. I want to live in a city where people aren't so much born, Jesus, thank you, but more like we float down like asymmetric angels from the sky. I want to live in a city where everybody knows how to stand with casual indifference, where I want to live in a city where everybody can get backstage before, during, and after the show. I want to live in a city where all of the women, from preteen to just this side of triple digits, pee glamour and sophistication like it was cranberry juice. I want to live in a city where everybody has perfected the paparazzi dash, making sure that the cameras always are positioned on our good side. I want to live in a city where there are no velvet ropes because everybody is megawatt stupendous and we can all breeze by the bouncers at the door with a discreet smile and minimal eye contact. I want to live in a city where everybody is just too fucking fabulous for words. I want to live in a city where everybody is young forever, where tears taste like lemon drops, and my face won't shatter in the rain. Thank you. John, you want to come up? Are you ready? Sure. My friend John Dorsey drove over from Toledo. He's going to join me up here for just a second. He will indulge us. You can read whatever you like, whenever you'd like to read it. John's going to join me here. It was important for John to stand up with me and read together. John almost died tonight, so feel sympathy for him. Or raise yourself.
Yeah, being short, this is a short man's microphone.
You're big in other ways.
Not like that,
juice.
Steve. Not like that. All right, I'm just going to read one poem because Dave asked me to. It's a poem I read when Dave and I were in Kansas City recently. We were at the Metropolitan Ensemble Theater. This poem is about how we have a lot of problems in the world, but the main problem is the fact that I can't dance. This is the politics of modern dance. On the news, they are talking about war. Blah, blah, blah. I find it all very depressing. What the American people should damn well be worried about is me on a dance floor. Move over, Fred Astaire. I wasn't blessed with the gift of tap. When they blew up the World Trade Center, my feet were the bomb they never saw coming. They're going to send our boys to a land I've never seen, and I can't two-step. I once told a woman that great poets can't dance, and she just laughed, saying that I must be the greatest poet since Shakespeare. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't care. It's just that I might want to get married someday. And the thought of that first dance freaks me out more than any stray bullet that might hit everything but my feet. What the troops need is someone like John Travolta as a drill instructor. How ironic. I don't imagine George W. can dance any better than I can. And lately I've been thinking that all our problems can be boiled down to a simple lack of rhythm. So you won't catch me doing one last tango in Paris, Texas. My steps would be the shot heard around the world, louder than the screams from any fallen shuttle. So when everything passes, or until we experience the kind of end that Jim Morrison must have been talking about, I'll just send a silent prayer to Mr. Bojangles, who must be rolling over in his grave with the knowledge that America can no longer get by on fancy footwork.
Nice book. Is this for sale, Matron?
Always.
Always.
I have like 4 books for sale.
Book whore. Yes. Do the suture. I want you to sign it. Anything? Boxing?
Yes, you have a Sharpie, sir.
Jeez, John, you're short.
I actually could use it lower than that.
These are on your elbows, John.
When he lacks in size, it makes up for his speed.
This is a little longer piece, and please indulge me with this again. This is for my friends, especially Kathy, who published this piece for the first time in City Magazine. You know, it's like gorgeous for me to be able to read this with these two folks here tonight. So it's going to be a little hard because it's got a little noise, but I'm going to way into it.
It's just a little noise during a feature reader.
God.
That's it?
Such power. I never knew you had it in you. All right. This poem was released as a broadside late last year, but it first appeared in That Beautiful Lady's publication, and I'm proud to read it here tonight. It's titled Genocide Sutra, a Love Poem. With ruby hearts at stress, we march hand wrapped in hand through the infamous gates, across the broken tracks and into the empty yard where evil screamed and the devil harvested the vineyard of the damned. Auschwitz. There is no pleasure in yesterday. Auschwitz. This little terror at the ass end of the world, truly. The memorial here is an antiseptic lie, an anemic and sterile victim's dude ranch, diluted, a soft and incomplete fable. Auschwitz. We stroll through this detached amusement park, Poland's tidy and grand tourist attraction, a nonchalant descent into hell. Auschwitz. When you sleep with Dr. Mengele, you always sleep alone. Auschwitz. The fences are straight and inviting, the buildings freshly painted and comfortable, the infirmary scrubbed, the chimney a non-issue, neat white gravel spread on the walkways, pretty early spring flowers bloom where brains were splattered. Auschwitz. The little red house of gas and horrors is long gone. The black wall of Block 11 is a reproduction. Auschwitz. There is no mud. There is no taste. There is no noise. There are no rats. There is no stench from Judith's decaying corpse. Where is Lena's piercing screams? Where are baby Liba's captivating emerald eyes? Where is Jacob's carved and mutilated face? Where is the iron bar placed on Oswald's throat while an SS officer stood feet planted firmly on the ends? Where are Max's testicles? Auschwitz. The slaughter displayed here is strictly museum quality, archival in its elegance. Small collections of hair, teeth, and artificial limbs rest in small piles in glass cases, anonymous. No names associated with the specimens. Where is the whimsical Bavarian felt hat made from Olga and Ruth's hair? Where is the fine carving knife made from Milo's femur? Auschwitz. Immediately after the liberation of this butcher shop, prospectors from the village of Oswiecim rushed in to mine the surrounding creeks and ash fields like it was the Yukon, ravenously staking claim for human wasted gold, silver, and clothes and bones, the great Polish Klondike strike of 1945. Auschwitz. The gorgeous birch woods surrounding Birkenau is the cemetery here, nourished by the discarded blood, bones, and ashes of fertilizer for the ages, terminal jive, a grand celebration of death for all seasons. 2. Auschwitz. It wasn't the beginning, and it certainly wasn't the end. Between the Crusades and Pol Pot's purification in the killing fields, between the Inquisition and Edward Teller's Hiroshima, between Caligula and John Baptiste Gatete, between Catherine the Great and Lieutenant William Calley, between Ahpuk the Destroyer and Darfur, perhaps sometime before, perhaps sometime after, Naked Grace, a wild and immaculate showgirl, the mother of pearl of controlling shelter, discouraged and exhausted, decided to simply fade away, blowing a parting kiss to the camel dreaming in the middle of the courtyard, and discreetly exited the room. 3. Nanking. The streets painted permanently red. Cruelty in the name of God's imperial glory. Satori in the key of annihilation. Bosnia. Stretched out on a bed of nails, returned home after the funeral, jammed open the windows, and reveled in the stench that filled its nostrils. Jerusalem. No matter how heavily they are whitewashed, the buildings will always be the color of dead skin. 4. Bodies burn. Blood dries. Bones pulverize. But ashes remain forever. They cannot be obliterated. They are the final reduction. They fertilize the grass that nourishes the animals, that provide the milk that our children drink. They bear forward the grain, the plants, the fruit we eat. They filter the water we gulp, the air we inhale. They give shadow to the sun and light to the moon. This rhapsody of ashes. They are in Delilah's hair and Samson's breath, Nero's eyes and Rasputin's skin. They are John the Baptist's easy repetition and General Sherman's rugged determination, Madame Mao's rapid conclusions, and Houdini's other cheek. They are this cigarette burning on the floor. They lace the orange blossoms covering our bed. They are the gloss shining your lips, the grime under my nails. 5. This easy emancipation of death. In our ruby-tinged hotel room, outside the remains of the ghetto, we fuck the horror away, claiming a debt for the dead. My tongue in the orifice of your choice, your tongue in the orifice of my choice, one cock, one cunt, one mouth, love dissolved into a puddle of simple sugar, swallowed together in one taste. Violently intoxicating, a bouquet of tiger lilies, your cunt is to me. An aroma I will never tire of inhaling. And you shall sleep tonight with your head on my chest, and I shall sleep tonight with my head in your hands, the whole world in them. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys.
Calling back. They filming something down here.
You're not looking at me.
Yeah, I got stuff in the bag.
Oh, we got stuff in the bag! Holy shit, we got stuff in the back!